Hey guys, Sweet and Sour have finally made an FPL and we want you to get involved.
Absolutely. Cash prizes for first, second and third, along with random prizes throughout the entire season. So what are you waiting for? Come and show us what you've got. Hello guys and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. The day is finally here. You've all been waiting for it. It's mine and Scott's Premier League predictions for the upcoming season. Guys, just before we jump in, we did our video yesterday, I believe, for our first ever FPL giveaway. One of you won. Let us know if you won. Get in touch with us, because I don't know if you have yet, because this is pre-recorded. So anyway, Scott,
let's jump in.
Let's dive in. Let's
get straight into it. We'll bring up one of your magical presentations. I did compliment you on this one, so I will. I won't insult you on camera for once. I'll say fair play to you.
You're coming round to the idea of these unbelievable presentations, right? Let's dive straight in. Ready? Hold on. Just want to get. Look. Oh no! There we are.
Dear me. I think
let's go back and see it in all its glory.
I don't want to watch this. I just want to see our predictions. Let's jump into it.
Let's go. Right.
This is where it looks good.
This is it now. And I'm going to let you go first this time. So, guys, how we've done it, we've separated it into blocks for, the important positions of the season. Scott, let's dive straight into yours for 20th, 19th and 18th. Oh.
Yeah. It's quite hard to pick my relegation candidates, to be honest. Maybe a couple of shocks in there. I think Watford potentially are going to be the worst out of the promoted teams, in my opinion. I see them definitely going down. Burnley, for me, 19th position. I mean, look, what Sean Dyche has done with them. He's pulled off miracle year after year. But yet again, very little spend coming from Burnley. And for me, I just think it's going to be 1 year too much for him. I really feel, especially with Tarkowski being linked with a move away. Obviously, McNeil as well might go before the end of the window. For me, I just think, Burnley, unfortunately, and it is unfortunately, going to go down this year. And then finishing off, Southampton. They've lost Danny Ings. They've been stuck with Che Adams up front. There doesn't seem a real suitable replacement coming in. I think Adams will bag some goals, but not enough for him. They're holding firm on James Ward-Prowse, so that is a big boost for them.
That's why they're not in my bottom three. Yeah, I was going to put Southampton in there, but I thought, if Hassan Hüttl's experience now in the Premier League, can they keep James Ward-Prowse? The reason why I haven't gone Burnley is because they've got one of the most experienced Premier League managers around. They've also still got Dwight McNeil, and they've still got Tarkowski, and they've got a few other players that have got experience. For me, I think Brentford will put up a good fight. I just think it's going to be too much of a mountain to climb. But I am excited to see them. Watford, it's just Watford. They'll probably change managers 2 or 3 times this season. And Crystal Palace, the less we say about them, the better. I mean, Patrick Vieira, Gary Cahill's gone. Their squad is aging like hell. Yeah, let's just move on. Let's move on. So 16th and 17th are obviously teams that we think will fight relegation, but just squeeze outside the drop. And you've gone for Norwich and Palace.
Yeah, so Palace for me, 17th place. It's a real, it was a real decision to keep them out. I feel that Palace, they've got rid of, I'm slightly different in my opinion to you. I think they've had a really good transfer window. They've got rid of a lot of the aging deadwood. They've took off big amount of wages from their price books. And at the end of the day, they're bringing in some great replacements as well, bringing in a host of young talent. They've got a host of younger talent in the academy that I also think are ready to step up. I think they will just miss the gap, but I do think Vieira will be the first manager to get sacked. I think they will be in the relegation for quite a considerable amount of the season, or until they get rid of Vieira, I don't see him really succeeding well.
So your justification for Palace staying up is how long it takes for them to sack Vieira.
Yeah, so, basically, there's nothing on his CV that says he's going to do well. I've seen him in interviews. There's nothing that's convinced me either. We've gone quite close on Norwich. I think we both think they're going to avoid the drop just about. Obviously, players such as Cantwell are being eyed by bigger teams, but even so, they've still got a really good-looking squad. I think they're going to have that Premier League experience compared to last time, which they didn't. Yeah. And some of the younger players have just got that little bit older now, a little bit more experience, and I think they'll definitely be ready for it this time round.
And Daniel Farke, who's obviously got great experience both in the Championship and the Premier League. So I think Norwich will just about do it. I really do. We come on to the mid-tablers, the people that don't quite make it into the top 10, but don't really flirt with relegation. Let's get both up. And you've got Wolves in 11th.
Yeah, so I've gone for Wolves in 11th. I think it's going to be a period of change at the Molineux. It's an interesting one. Very, very contrasting styles. I think some Wolves fans will be hoping for lower. I think you yourself, there will be. You're not alone in probably putting Wolves a little bit lower in the table than what I have done.
Generous.
I think they're going to be the best of the rest. I really do. I think there might be a little bit of a gap between us and whoever's in 10th. And you've cut it off perfectly for me. I think we're going to be the best of the rest. I think it might take Large a bit of time to implement what he wants to do with Wolves. Obviously, completely different style of play to Nuno. So I don't expect us to start the season strong as a Wolves fan, but I do think we'll just fall outside the top 10.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You've got Brentford finishing 14th. That's bold.
Yeah, I love how Brentford are being run as a club. I mean, you look at kind of, if I wanted to compare them to like a club that we really know well for being in the Premier League for some time now, it would be Leicester. Brentford have implemented that exact same model of sometimes selling the best players for a big fee, a fee that, is above what maybe the market value was at the time. And they just bring in suitable replacements year on year for cheaper. They make that squad better. This year's the first year that they seem to be, at the time of recording, seems that they're going to keep Ivan Toney, who I think is going to do brilliantly in the Prem. I think he's got the right mentality to keep them up with goals. And not just keep them up, I see him as a really stable Premier League team. I think they're going to they've made additions to the defence as well. I think they're going to shock a few, and that's why I've put Brentford in 14th position.
Yeah, I don't have that same confidence in Brentford, although as a neutral, if there are any Brentford fans watching this, I would love you to stay up. I think it would be so good for the league. I think I've been generous with Wolves. For those who don't know, we are Wolves fans, but I think I'm being generous. I was looking at it. I just don't think we're going to finish 13th. I really don't. You think? I know West Ham have lost Lingard, and not lost him, but there's a chance they could still get him, but they haven't as of yet. You think we're going to finish above West Ham?
I think West Ham and Newcastle are both massive teams. Let's face it, they're massive teams.
They've both got better than us. Never mind.
They've both got owners that again look to not be investing in this transfer window. They look like they're going to have to feed off scraps. And for me, no, I don't see either of them finishing higher. I think it's going to be close, particularly with West Ham. I think Newcastle are in for another standard year. I think they may drift a bit below where I've actually put them throughout the season, but they will pull it back and finish on their usual stable Premier League finish.
Didn't Newcastle finish above us last season? I think they did. So good old Steve Bruce, he knows what he's doing. We've got to start taking this man seriously.
Newcastle fans are hating you.
Yeah, they are. Sorry, guys. We're talking about owners that don't invest in terms of Mike Ashley, Golden Sullivan. Our owners haven't been invested in the last 18 months. If you take out Fabio Silva, yeah, but we sold Jota for 45 million. I don't know. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near 10th. I don't. I just don't. What about Brighton? You quite comfortable with Brighton as well? You think they'll be okay?
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. I've kind of again, it's really fitted well because I don't see them in a relegation battle. I see them floating comfortably, like that 7 points mark above relegation. I think they will end up quite comfortable. You've put them considerably higher. I don't have anything against that. They are going to have to obviously fill the space of how's his name gone out of my head? Arsenal have signed him. It's completely gone.
Ben White.
Ben White. I don't know why the name just went out of my head completely. I know that was shocking for me. They are going to have to replace Ben White, but I think they've already found some. They already look to have a suitable defence. I just think they may need a couple more goals.
They signed that central midfielder for 22 or 23 million pounds.
Signing.
I forgot his name as well. But they are I think it's their only sign. No, they also signed the Ajax goalkeeper, I think, for £5 million. So they are making signings. I think they just need goals. I think they just need to try and get a few more goals in the team. I think Brighton will be fine. And I think their biggest thing this season was keeping Potter. I thought he'd be a bigger club. I really did.
Graham Potter's a superb manager. I think he'll be fighting for Europe in the Premier League soon. Whether he can take Brighton to that level or he does, unfortunately, have to move on. He's just too good a manager not to be fighting for the top places.
I completely agree. Speaking of moving on, let's talk about 3 teams that will sneak into the top half, but will not just make. Can't even speak English, man. It's late here. They will not make Europe. Okay. Spurs don't do it for you, even though they're looking like, as of recording this, they're not going to let Kane go.
No, so I mean, for Spurs, for me, they miss out on Europe. Whether they will let Kane go or not remains to be seen. We still don't fully know, do we, at the end of the day? I think if Kane continues to play hardball and a suitable bid comes in, then I think, they will let him go. The issue, of course, with that is the fact that even if he doesn't go, it's going to have a major interruption on morale. It's going to have a major interruption on the start of the season. And I think that alone is going to be enough to stop them getting European football next year.
Why don't you just be honest and say the real reason? It's that you hate Nuno.
Also, with Nuno, I don't see...
Here we go.
I mean, Nuno's going to... I can see why Kane wants to go because Nuno is going to kill his career, probably having played at centre-back. So, he's already seems to be relying on Matt Doherty as well. So we're pretty much matching, aren't we? We've just, obviously, you've got Villa 1 place higher. Obviously, they've sold Jack Grealish. I don't think they'll suffer too much from that. They've made some really good signings in Leon Bailey.
I was going to ask you, would Villa, for you, have been in the next bracket if they'd have kept Grealish?
If they would have done the signings they've done already and kept Grealish, they would have gone 7th for me. I really think that would have been the year, which is, although I don't like the fact that Villa fans have kind of hit back at Grealish, and I don't mean Villa fans as a whole, I mean a select few. I think quite a number understand why he has moved on. But at the same time, I can see their disappointment. I honestly feel that this would have been the year if they kept Grealish. Let's face it, they've made some brilliant signings. Danny Ings, Bailey, just to name a couple, Brendia, and they're still in the market for more. I think it's going to still be a really exciting season for Aston Villa. I really do.
We've both got Leeds in the same place. I think you know what you're going to get from Leeds. You're going to get some exciting football, a lot of goals, both at one end of the pitch and the other. I think they'll be entertaining to watch. I personally, they might flirt with 7th at some point in the season for 5 or 6 games. I personally don't see them making a serious charge.
No, I think it's one of them for me. I think, I've said before that my opinion on Bielsa has changed. I think he's going to have a really good season with them. I think Leeds will be really happy with a 10th place finish. There may be, I mean, it could change. Another couple of signings. They've took advantage of Barcelona, much like Wolves. They've took advantage of Barcelona's their financial problems. Barcelona.
And there goes all our subs. Right, let's move on.
I'm not going to finish my point in bringing the fact they've brought in Firpo at left back. I think that's going to be a great move to shore up the defence. So, yeah, another great year for Leeds.
You're trying to make up for all those Leeds fans that hate us from the very first week we ever did this channel.
Mate, they hate us for life.
Yeah, Leeds hate us. But we did put you 10th, so, you know. The teams that are going to... Oh, you haven't put Man U there.
Yeah.
What?
Man U 5th for me. Bring up yours and I'll explain why. Let's start with Everton. Go on. Well, let's start with Everton. We've both gone for them in 7th. I think much like me, you probably thinking that Rafa Benitez. For me,
that was it.
The main issue for Everton last year was their inconsistency. I think with Rafa Benitez, he's going to correct that inconsistency. And I really think if they had that last year, that would have been enough for them to basically end up in that 7th place position. And I think he's gonna make them more consistent. And Everton will have European football back by the end of the season, albeit the Conference League.
Listen, it's a stepping stone that they desperately need. I don't think you can brush it off. Obviously, it's no secret that we have a lot of Everton fans on there, and the way that I insulted their new kits, you're probably thinking I had to put them 7th just to stop them leaving. But no, I'm a big Rafa fan. When we had that debate on this channel talking about whether he would be a good suit for them or not, you weren't so impressed. I was straight away. And you've kind of come around to it the more we've looked into it. I just think Benitez will not lose at home to Brentford. He won't draw with Burnley. I'm not saying he's going to go and do the double over United and get 4 points against Arsenal, But I think he wins the games he needs to win, and he'll pick a few wins and draws off the top side. So, and they've got the squad. Ancelotti had the squad. He just bottled it. His heart was never in it. Arsenal, you've gone 6th, I've gone 5th. Not much to say there. But I notice you don't have Leicester on the screen yet, and I do. Sorry, Leicester fans.
Yeah, so, I mean, as you say, not too much to say on Arsenal. I feel they've shored up the defence. They just still need a striker. If they ring in a striker, they could possibly fight that top 4. Man United, for me, everyone's going to be thinking, what? He's put United 5th. Let me put it simple for you, right? Let me explain it in simple terms. They've signed Sancho, right? Yeah. They're going to have probably signed Varane by the time this comes out tomorrow. It's pretty much a done deal. They look like they've got a really good squad, right? But what's the point in having a Ferrari if you give a learner driver the chance to drive it? They're not going to drive it how it's supposed to be drove. That analogy, of course, applies to Solskjaer, who's an absolute fraud, and the pressure is going to get on him. For the first time, United are going to expect trophies under his reign, and he's going to bottle it just like Lampard bottled it last season for Chelsea. They've spent big. The biggest mistake they made this season was giving Solskjaer a 3-year extension. It's ridiculous, and it will cost them Champions League football.
That was an odd one. But I just feel like if Ollie can get them 2nd with Greenwood out wide and Cavani, an injured Rashford, McFred, Pogba not playing, Twanzebe playing with Lindelof and Maguire. He's now got the best left-back in the world.
Teams have improved.
Yeah, but so have United. They've got the best left-back in the world on form. Harry Maguire was a rock. Varane speaks for himself. Wan-Bissaka, going forward, he's not the best. He does his job. They need a DM. They truly do need a DM. I'm not going to disagree with that. But Bruno, Pogba if he wants to play, if he stays, Sancho, I don't see how they can get worse by adding 2 world-class players.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, pressure's going to be on him and he's going to bottle under the pressure.
But he's got them 2 second-place finishes now. He's been
No,
there for
but
3
there's
years.
going to be pressure on him this time. Like, they're going to expect a chase to the title, and he's going to bottle it. And right, let's move on. Let's move on.
So the only difference is that you've got Leicester finally doing it, going to 4th. I've got United squeezing 4th. I've gone Chelsea to finish 2nd, and you've gone Liverpool 3rd. These could have changed quite easily. One question I want to ask you is, let's address the elephant in the room. We know who's going to win the league this season, most likely. How many points do you think Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal, whoever, Man U, how many points will 2nd be off 1st?
8.
Have you just taken the number that you knew I was going to say 8?
I didn't know you were going to say 8 at all. The reaction agreed
like 5 times. Fuck
8 points for me. I think
minimum 8.
Yeah, so I mean, look, just to quickly run through my decisions. I think Leicester are going to have continued to improve their squad. They've made some great, shrewd signings. I think this is a year that Brendan Rodgers gets them over the line. They've got some more depth in the squad. It's a little worry that obviously the centre-back situation at the moment, but I still think over the course of the season, they will get into the top 4. Chelsea for me, Chelsea and Liverpool could, you've interchanged them. I could quite easily do the same. It's going to be very close between them two. The reason I put Liverpool 2nd is everyone's forgetting they're going to have Van Dijk back. They've strengthened the defence further with the defensive options. They're going to have Gomez back as well. Henderson's going to be playing in his correct position. They're going to have everything back to how it should be. And let's not forget, when they had everything how it should be 2 years ago, they absolutely waltzed the league. I don't think it's going to be the same this year because the amount of money City has spent. But I really do think that everyone's underestimating how good Liverpool can be this season.
I think there could only be a couple of points between Liverpool and Chelsea.
Agreed.
Again, it's a coin flip for me as to who's 2nd and who's 3rd. But guys, it's no surprise. I think if you did this with 1,000 people who didn't support one of the top 6, I think 990 people put Manchester City 1st. And how can you not? They're in the hunt for Messi. I don't think they'll get him, but they're in the hunt. They've just signed Grealish. Still in the hunt for Kane. It's disgusting. And I think they'll win the league by between 8 and 14 points. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think the only reason that they might fall short is if they don't manage to get that striker through. But let's face it, they spent the majority of last season without Aguero and still absolutely waltzed the league. They're looking incredibly strong. They've got ridiculous strength in depth. And for me, there's only one winner when it comes to the league this year, and that is Man City.
Well, put it this way, I think they were like 12th in November. I think they were 6th on Christmas Day. And then they won the league in February. So it's as simple as that when you're Manchester City. Guys, that was our prediction for this season's Premier League. Let us know, are we way off it on your team or not even your team, another team? Do you think we've got one of the positions or more drastically wrong? I know Scott has with Wolves finishing 11th. But let us know your thoughts.
And let us know who you thought had the better out of the 2 predictions. And as always, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we shall see you on the next video.
Take care.